Judy,
Hello there.
you got the right place tonight.
So you beat the mayor. He's going to be upset. I just talked to him.
The mayor won't be able to get on anyway.
Oh, stop. Just stop.
You'll get some
There he
text. I'll
is.
get
He's
some
there.
text.
He's good.
He's good?
He's on.
All right. Now, Mayor, you got your air card. You're on mute.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Oh, no. Boy, you're
I'm
tempting.
going commando.
We got him a new air card and it came today. It's in the box next to his mailbox. But
I tried.
You told me that Vishon fixed the problem.
he did. It's been great.
So I'm going without protection.
Yes, you are.
Naked and afraid.
Oh. Don't tempt the demo gods, as we used to say.
Off mute.
Hey, Judy, is it possible for me to get on with my computer? I can only access my phone. I'm getting frustrated here. I tried to forward it to my Gmail and all the invitation stuff got scrubbed.
Sure.
Is it possible to just invite me to Gmail? From Gmail? Sorry, everybody.
Are you good where you are right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on my phone though, so. Want to just do that?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
your phone is fine.
Yeah.
All right, just
If
do
there's
that.
something we need to share, I can share it to the screen.
Okay, that's fine. Just it's very small. Go ahead.
Let me see. To your Gmail account, what's the Gmail account?
It's just dstevenson@gmail.com.
Nice birds.
D. Stevenson?
I just
At
sent it.
gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah, Doug, if you check, I just hopefully got it out there as well.
Should get it in a minute.
Oh my God. Let's just go with this. My connection's like crapping out.
I like it better on my phone anyway, because then you can move around if you need to.
Yeah, let's just go. Let's just go. Sorry, everybody.
Okay. It is 7:07. I will recognize that we have full attendance by the Township Committee. So welcome everyone to the Bedminster Township Committee, July 20, 2020 Bedminster Township Committee meeting. Once again, being held through Zoom. Sullivan, Will you please have the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Yes, sir. Adequate notice of this meeting, the Township Committee, was sent to the Courier News in Somerville and to the Burnasville News in Whippany. Also to all subscribers, and then posted here at the municipal building on January 16th, 2020.
So, thank you. Please join me in saying for the Pledge of Allegiance, and if you don't have a flag, there's one right behind you. I pledge allegiance
Just to the flag
This is the flag of the United States,
United States of America
Republic.
and to the republic for which
for which
it
it
stands,
stands, one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Approval of minutes. We have two meeting minutes to approve, July 6th for the Township Committee meeting and the July 6th closed session executive meeting. Are there any comments? Otherwise, then, approval of minutes? Seeing none, can we have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Permits and raffles. We have 4 permits and raffles. First one is we are amending the off-premise 50/50 cash raffle license number 276 for the Pottersville Volunteer Fire Company from July 23, 2020 at 8 p.m. to December 19, 2020 at 3 p.m. Any questions or comments regarding Pottersville moving to 50/50? Okay, the next one is off-premise 50/50 cash raffle to benefit Music in the Somerset Hills, Inc. on October 10, 2020 at 8 p.m. at the Casey Residence, Larger Cross Road, Bedminster, New Jersey. And then the third is an on-premise 50/50 cash raffle to benefit the Timothy J. Piazza Memorial Fund, sponsored by the Children's Specialized Hospital on August 10, 2020 at 6 p.m. at Fiddler's Elbow Country Club, Rattlesnake Ridge Road, Bedminster, New Jersey. And the fourth is amending the off-premise merchandise raffle license 275 of the Lamington Presbyterian Church from May 8, 2020 to September 25, 2020 at 3 p.m. There are no questions or comments regarding those permits and raffles. May we have a motion to approve?
So moved,
Second.
Again, all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Thank you.
Okay, our public comment section is coming up right now. I believe we have at least one person from the public who wants to say something. So, Mr. Brown, I assume there you are. Take yourself off mute.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good
Hey,
Has everybody received the email and attachment that I sent earlier today?
yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm relieved to find out that it's not just me, but to let you know, you've got the village of Pottersville, you've got a lot of angry residents. I never realized how much it was bothering everyone else until I started making the rounds, out walking the dog and getting buzzed by motorcycles and buzzed by trucks. And everyone else is sharing the same frustration and frankly anger. Some of the longtime residents here have just thrown up their hands in disgust at the lack of concern and support that Pottersville has received in addressing this. This is a serious issue, folks. When you're talking about motorcycles, trucks coming through blind curves in a 25-mile-an-hour zone at 45, 50 miles an hour, 57 miles an hour, as I've observed motorcycles come through right in front of my house. You've got the neighborhood is somewhat turning over as well. You've got toddlers now living on Black River Road. We got young kids on Southfield. We got teenagers. We got blind driveways, and frankly we're fed up. I've been here 2 years. I've brought it to your attention numerous times. Yes, the signs have been put up, marginal improvement. If folks aren't realizing they're speeding and they care, they'll slam on the brakes. Most times though, people just don't give a rat's ass. I'm sorry. They have zero consideration for the residents of this town, the taxpayers of this town. And frankly, I see more Tewksbury police coming through on Black River than I ever see Bedminster police. The occasional time that Bedminster police will set up to observe traffic will usually be up at the church or at the Southfield intersection, sometime, between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m. when nothing's going on a weeknight. Never see them on a weekend. And it just to us, and this is a common thread from numerous of the residents that I spoke with, that the police just don't care. They're just doing it to check a box. The next time that once the meetings open up in person back at the town hall, we're going to have a very large contingent coming in to discuss this. And this can be fixed. Like I said in the letter, PPAC has fixed it. This can be fixed. We want it fixed before something happens, and something is going to happen. I've already had a speeder run off the road right in front of my house, fortunately into the woods across from our house. My daughter's had cars run up on her butt as she's backing out to go to work. The motorcyclists come by that, flip the bird as you're asking them to slow down. We're beyond fed up. And
Mr. Brown, we do, as everyone indicated, we've received your email and went through the materials. And as we indicated at the last meeting, I told you that we would raise this both with the chief and with our engineer to look at both the issues of indications of speeding and whether they are consistent with your presentation, and also with our engineer to see what is out there in the world of traffic calming. The police presence has been increased, as you noted in your last discussion, and as you also noted that the signs went up, which is one of your original requests. So we will wait to hear from the engineer and from our police chief as to other steps, and hopefully that we will have a report and perhaps even a presentation by both of them at our next Township Committee meeting. Once we are open and fully open for public to attend our meetings, we welcome the folks from Pottersville to come here. So we do look forward to that. But right now, we've forwarded that information to our experts, and hopefully we get some indication of, if there is a problem that needs to be fixed, then let's certainly fix it. That is our job on the Township Committee. So we are right now, once again, looking at the information. The police chief has pulled up the speed records from the two different speed signs that are up there. And we'll see if there's a 57 mile per hour indicator. On my first preliminary review of what the chief provided, did not see that. But we will certainly ask the chief to look at it. And I can tell you from discussions earlier today, the engineer has that information, and he will also be reporting on, once again, are there other physical improvements that he recommends are appropriate for that section of Black River Road. So that will hopefully, once again, be presented at our next Township Committee meeting.
Okay, how long is the data archived in the signs?
Judy, do you know?
I don't know. The data that the chief pulled today was for the month of June and the month of July year to date. I didn't ask him if it went back before that. So,
right. So the 57 was last year. It was right after the signs went up. So the question is the data regularly archived and reviewed? I'm assuming that it is.
Yeah,
When the chief,
like I said, the chief pulled
we
it
have the
today.
chief
so.
at the next meeting, we will have
Okay.
all these answers for you.
Okay. And could he provide as well at the next meeting, you know, what the schedule is for having regular patrols out here? Because I can tell you, it doesn't happen during the appropriate times if we're serious about addressing the speeding.
I usually will not answer for the police chief, and police chief certainly on policing strategies, but I imagine it is not the Bedminster Police Department's nor any other department's normal procedures to give out schedules.
Understood. Understood.
So, Mr. Brown,
Larry,
oh, Doug,
I think I just wanted to jump in and say, in the data that I was looking at in response to this, it indicates that the police out there every single day. The police are doing rounds, and the records show they are out there every single day. So let's see what the information says, and let's see what the experts, how they synthesize it. But I hear what you're saying, Mr. Brown, and no one wants an unsafe situation, and certainly get it. And with the kids and the turnover, it makes all the sense in the world. I hear what you're saying. But the data that we're then now retrieving would indicate that there's an inconsistency in here somewhere. So let's just try to drill down on it. But I do see police presence every day out there, logs. So let's just see what they say, like the mayor says. But, you know, this is not something that is being lost on the five of us. We hear what you're saying. We put the signs in. And the data that at least, you know, looked at preliminarily, and I'm not the expert to synthesize that and make heads and tails over it, but it seems to indicate that the flow of traffic is right in line with a 25-mile-an-hour road. And I don't want to say like that's the ultimate conclusion we're drawing. It's just my non-police, non-engineer review of raw data, just sifting through it. So let's see what they have to say. But you know, when you say this can be fixed, I'm anxious to hear, you know, what's your thought on that? What would be your idea of how something like this would be fixed? Because you got to be honest with you, the issues that we've explored on this particular stretch of road in our town, it's not conducive to a speed bump or the rumbling things, or, you know, you see now on the side of the highways where you have the indentations made into the asphalt. It lets you know you're going off the road. That's all problematic from a weather standpoint. The water's going to get in there and freeze. Now you got yourself a slippery situation on a turn. So at the end of the day, everyone on this call, I think, wants the same thing. We want a safe township, and we don't want to see an accident. But what I'm hearing from the folks that are in the know is that this is a difficult stretch because of the turns. So the signage and the speed signs, that was really our idea of you know, what would be a completely safe way of letting motorists know that, hey, you're going too fast here, slow it down. And those signs do have the ability to record the data, and the data that it's recording, from my naive eye, I'm seeing that people are sort of staying within the 25 miles an hour. So that's what we need to drill down on. Your experience versus what the data is saying, there's an inconsistency, so we got to work through that.
There is, and I would hope that data can be shared, because that is not consistent with what is observed. Literally, there's the sign. I can look out my window right there. I've been working from home since March. There is no way that the data can support that traffic is a consistent 25-mile-an-hour environment.
we will, when we do at the next meeting, and both the chief and the engineer are able to present, we will have that information available. And one of the great things about these Zoom meetings is that we can actually present that information up here and viewable by all members. So we're not just waving a piece of paper, that it's up in front of you. So we will have that at the next meeting. Judy, that's First week of August?
August 3rd.
August 3rd.
Okay, and again, that's still going to be,
Soon enough.
that's still going to be a Zoom meeting, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, unless things change.
Right, which I don't expect them to.
But once again, there are certain benefits we get with Zoom meeting, which is once again sharing the information
Sure.
live. So we will be back with that information once again, and hopefully we get some good feedback and can still move forward. I will say, in discussions with folks in Berners Township and Somerville, discussions with mayors as well as residents, that those signs, the flashing signs, they do work. And to some extent, talking to the police, they believe that there's even traffic, mere presence of those signs themselves are traffic calming physical improvements. So they went up. In fact, if you stay around for the rest of the meeting, you'll see that we're actually deploying more of those speed signs and deploying them elsewhere in Bedminster, and Black River Road was our first experiment with that, and we're bringing them back elsewhere.
And like I stated to begin with, it has helped for the individuals that just don't realize that they're speeding. But this is the cruising road. Black River is the cruising road. There are numerous repeat offenders. I recognize them. They do not care. And the signs have zero impact on them.
Mr. Brown, the police chief will be going through the data on August 3rd.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thank you much.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, monthly report discussions by subcommittee chair. Mr. Stevenson, we'll start with you down south.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I don't have much to report on. I've got historic pres coming up tomorrow. So at that point, I will follow up on the inquiry we made last week about Pluckerman Park coming in and sort of getting educated in the paint colors and what the status is for that. So I'll have an update for you at the next meeting. I've got that on the list of things to do. DPW, our roads are still getting paved out in the western part of the town. I understand there's an issue of notice about some of our folks are getting trapped in, and we'll talk to John about that and talk to our contractors to make sure that does not happen in the future. I think that was just an oversight, but nevertheless, it can't happen. Can't have our folks being locked in and not knowing about it. So we're aware of that, and we'll take care of that in the future, make sure that does not happen. The Pluckman Schoolhouse construction and pavement is on the short list. I don't know why that hasn't been done yet, but we will get to the bottom of that too, and hopefully next meeting on that particular project. But other than that, I hope to have more substantive update for everybody next time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Committeeman Hickey.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, all. A couple of quick updates. Board of Health, we had a meeting last Thursday. 2 applications were reviewed and approved, one for a septic system in Pottersville, the other continuation of the Bedminster Farms application. One of the lots that required updated soil logs, so they were both approved. Marie Crenshaw from the library presented the library's reopening plan to the board, which had previously commented on her draft plan. Part and parcel of the plan are obviously things like masks, signage, markers for social distancing. We're even social distancing the computers, disposable earbuds for computer use, and they're doing regular cleaning every 2 hours. When the books are returned, they're put in book jail, and they're basically put aside in bins for 3 days, isolated, and then put back into the circulation for the library itself. The building was also professionally deep cleaned before reopening. So the board was satisfied with the plan, which has also been approved by the Far Hills Board of Health. So that was Board of Health meeting. Also had a Board of Ed meeting, which I attended last Thursday. Bedminster School has their own reopening committee working on a back to school plan, which should be released to the parents on August 7th. Obviously there's a copious amount of state guidance that they're receiving that they're trying to incorporate into their own plan. Issues they're tackling include things like buildings and grounds, nursing, childcare, transportation, and food service. They recognize, I think like everybody else does, that there's no perfect solution. They're trying to balance the needs and best interests of the parents, the children, and the teachers. And I just saw today that Governor Murphy indicated that New Jersey will provide a remote learning option for all schools this fall. I guess details to follow. On another note, and Committeewoman Fernandez can keep me honest here, I think the rescheduled graduation is for the 22nd. Is that correct, Gina?
It was just canceled today.
Oh, no.
Too many people are on vacation, and there's also a chance of rain. So there'll be no third graduation, but our children did have a virtual graduation, and they had a clap out. So I think they're good. At this point, they're ready for high school.
Ready to go. Well, congratulations to your daughter and all the graduates.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update. And I know, Mayor, you made some special acknowledgments of the meeting in light of some of the leadership changes occurring at the board level, so I'll leave those for you to comment on.
Okay,
And
thank
that's all
you.
I've got.
Committeewoman Mareski.
Thank you, Mayor. Hi, everybody. This will be real short. For the Environmental Commission, just wanted to report that Dawn March, the chair, and I took some additional photos of our Bedminster Pond late last week for John Mance and Paul Ferrara to use. Hopefully they'll send it off to Brian Zarate and see if between the three of them, they have some reasonable steps we can take for the overgrowth in that pond. It was pretty much covered wall to wall. Although the cute thing was we saw a family of ducks who just flew into the middle, sat down and just stuck their face in. They didn't even have to paddle around to eat. So whatever we find out from those guys, we'll discuss at the next DC meeting, hopefully. That should be held on August 5th. Jacobus Vanderveer is still quiet, but on Sunday the 12th, a bunch of us went out to the Fields of Honor and took down all the flags. There is no meeting for Jacobus Vanderveer for July and August. Their next meeting will be September 16th. And that's all I have for you.
Thanks. Renee, do you have any update on the trailer and the plans for the barn raising?
There's no real update because they're still waiting. They're working on getting the funds to do the plans. I think actually Robin's on the call, so she probably can add in a little bit more for me. They need to get the plans for the barn done, but they have had professionals come and take a look at the barn materials that are in the container truck, and it's pretty safe and sound. So, Robin, if you want to jump in.
Sure. We just submitted a grant that was postponed by 3 months due to COVID-19 to the New Jersey Historical Commission, which is the large bulk of the funding for the barn. So we're waiting to hear from that.
Okay. All right, thank you. Which brings us to someone who's on mute. No longer. Fernandez.
Hello. I don't have too many updates. We have a recreation meeting tomorrow and a Fall Fest meeting next week where we'll finalize the plan for an alternate type of fundraiser so that the charities that benefit from Fall Fest can still receive some funds, but in a socially distanced, safer way. So that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mayor,
Oh.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I
Go
don't
ahead,
mean to ruin your flow there, but I just heard Gina say there's a rec meeting tomorrow. Is that going to be a problem, having two meetings at the same night with Zoom? We have historic preservation as well.
Judy, you got a Zoom technical question.
So you can't have two at the same time. Historic is at 6.
Be
Robin,
done by 7 and we're good?
We can actually reschedule if we need to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That might be.
Oh.
I'm sorry,
All right,
I've just been busy with camps, so we kind of
Historic had to
came and went.
reschedule because they had a conflict with Board of Health last week. So, yeah, it would be best if, unless you have something pressing, if we could reschedule, that'd be great.
All right, let's do that. I'll reach out to the committee. Thank you.
Well, instead of rescheduling, can you just maybe push it up from Historic Pres is at 6. You want to move rec up to 7:30? Will an hour and a half be enough for Historic Pres?
I would certainly think so.
Yeah, they have two small projects before that.
Yeah, just because I think with camp going on, I think it'd be good for the rec department to get a debrief on how camp is proceeding, and Gina can present back at the next TC meeting. Gina, do you have anything else on?
No, tomorrow, Fall Fest meeting was supposed to be tomorrow and they changed it to the following week because there were already 2 meetings scheduled. So the only meeting I had for tomorrow was rec, so 7:30 would be fine.
Okay, so from once again, I'll do a very quick mayor's presentation. Board of Ed. So as Colin mentioned, I did attend the Board of Ed meeting with Committeeman Hickey, and I went there to thank outgoing President Jeff Reeves for his years of service to residents of Bedminster and our students and teachers as leading the Bedminster Board of Ed for his last I guess, a little over 2 years. And also to congratulate Susie Stevenson on accepting the position as president of the Board of Ed, and wishing them both good luck. Certainly Jeff in his time away from the presidency of the Board of Ed, and good luck to Susie Stevenson for picking a rather inopportune time to take the Board of Ed through a difficult COVID situation. So best of luck to President Stevenson in running the Board of Ed. Land Use Board, as Colin mentioned, Bedminster Farms application has been carried over. It'll probably be a slight tweak to adjust for the additional lot that was approved by the Board of Health. So my guess is that will be further incorporated into the Bedminster Farms application, and it's been carried over. There's still some things that applicant needs to address to the board's satisfaction, and that continues. Also, the Board of Ed, the Land Use Board will be hearing the Rylocate application, which for everyone else is the Desiderio site on Main Street. So there's an application. I believe that is on for August as well. Library is open. As Committeeman Hickey mentioned, there was a presentation by Marie Crenshaw from the library to the Board of Health, but the library is open. So the doors are open, folks can come in, limited by a number of patrons coming in, certainly limited service, social distancing being employed throughout. And also just a quick reminder that the library will be working with the Red Cross on that blood drive for later this month. Farmers Market just going swimmingly well. And, you know, we've been doing the clicker count to see how many folks are coming through. And the clicker for last weekend was Committeeman Hickey. What'd you get, Colin? How many did you end up with?
I think we were about 750 all said and done. So it was another good weekend.
750. So that is the number of patrons going through from 9 o'clock, maybe a little before 9 o'clock to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. So that's been great. It was a warm day, not as warm as today, but once again, the farmers market doing well and giving folks the opportunity to get some semblance of normalcy during this very difficult time. And once again, farmers market, wear your mask. We've had zero incident of having to tell folks to put on masks or not attend. The social distancing and the adherence to the COVID rules and COVID guidance by the patrons at the farmers market, as well as the vendors, has been outstanding. And just want to thank everyone on the Farmers Market Committee for putting those rules together and seeing them implemented. So thank you all. Let's move on to Administrator's Report. Ms. Sullivan.
Okay. I'm happy to report we are officially back open, Town Hall, Police Station, Municipal Court today, July 20th. We had all staff back in the office working normal hours as of June 22nd. And then we've been serving the public by appointment only, and primarily with taping things to the outside of the building and doing a drop box. And it's been working. But today we opened, please, if you want, I sent out some pictures today. John Mance built a beautiful plexiglass barrier framed with beautiful stained wood to match all our other wood in the building. A dark cherry color, it's beautiful. Kind of like the meeting room. For both sides, both administration and construction. We have barriers set up. When the public comes in, they have to stop and wait until they're called up to a window. Only one person up to a window at a time, so we can only serve 3 people at a time. But it started today. We had people in today. We had people in getting things notarized. We had people in doing applications. We have a little table set up out in the foyer area just inside the front door where people can sit. And then they can come in, do their business, and then they go out the back lobby. So it's one way in, one way out. And started today, and today worked fine. So we're again open. We received correspondence from the Morris County Park Commission that they have scheduled a white-tailed deer management program. And it will be in a portion of the Bamboo Brook and Willowwood Arboretum parks, which a portion of those parks are in Bedminster Township. So this information was sent to us and shared with the police department. It's primarily, it is primarily with Bo, but it is quite an elaborate plan. Lewis Morris County Park also, as well as the Bamboo Brook and Willowwood. So that's starting in September. We also were contacted by the Gannett Fleming Incorporated, who have been contracted by New Jersey DOT to develop the design plans for the Route 202 bridge over the North Branch of the Raritan, which is the bridge between Far Hills and Bedminster. They are the professionals working to identify right now any conflicts between the proposed construction and the facilities that are located in Bedminster Township and Far Hills near the bridge. So they don't have any updated timelines with us for the project, but it's just to let you know that the project plans have started again. So I'll have more dates for you on that soon. As you know, at the end of June, the last week of June, we sent out estimated tax bills, which were just for the third quarter. And then we'll be following up in September with final tax bills. We did have concern when we did the budget. We called it our COVID budget. We were concerned about tax collection, property tax collection for our third and fourth quarters of the year. Due to the fact with COVID, a lot of people are out of work, people on furlough, and are they going to be able to still pay their bills? Well, I'm happy to report that as of last Friday, checked with the tax collector, our third quarter tax bills are all, it's not even August, and we're at 68.34% are paid. So that is right on track where we should be for this time of year. Also checking with the CFO, our revenue and our cash in our bank accounts and everything is right where it normally is this time of year. So fingers crossed that will be the case, going forward. But right now we're in good shape financially. The second quarter, not fully paid 100%, is just about 96%. There's still a couple people behind. And the third quarter is 68.34. So that's really excellent. And that's all I have.
Okay, so just a quick update on the third quarter taxes. As many of you know, the governor and actually the legislature put together a bill, and that was actually approved, allows during periods of pandemics, and specifically the COVID crisis we're in, for municipalities to do additional grace periods or amnesty periods for the payment of taxes. So that's municipal real estate taxes. There was supposed to be some guidance coming out of the Division of Local Government Services that would provide some detail on how these additional extensions could be made. So once again, as we come to the third quarter taxes, whether or not we're in a position to extend the deadline, well, actually not the deadline, but giving a grace period for late payments. That guidance has not been promulgated,
Right.
certainly not as of earlier today. So there's not much more opportunity to give a grace period when the deadline is coming up in August. That's something that I'll be raising during our weekly call.
Right, we have one more meeting if you're gonna do a resolution to extend that grace period. August 3rd meeting would be the last chance.
That's the last opportunity. So once again, we'll be raising this with the governor's reps if DLGS will be issuing that guidance, so we can offer it to our residents should the Township Committee decide to do so again. So we'll see what happens with that. But that is good news on third quarter taxes. And unfortunately, the longer the COVID crisis goes on, our next concern, if we get past third quarter taxes consistent with prior years, will be fourth quarter taxes, obviously. So once again, we are keeping our eye on taxes and an eye on our COVID budget. Discussion on introduced ordinance scheduled for public hearings. We'll have the opportunity for public questions. We will skip that because we actually have public hearings of ordinances and we have no introduction of new ordinances. So we will go quickly to public hearing of ordinances. Then we have a motion to public hearing of ordinance number 2020-003. This is an ordinance authorizes the township to accept a declaration of restriction from Robert Scully and Nancy Karitzman for a portion of the property identified as lot 2407 and 2407 New Farm located at 1510 Black Road, Bedford, New Jersey. I need a motion. All right. All right. So, John Bellardo.
Yes, Mayor.
We've talked about this before, but if you can just, for everyone on this Zoom call, to walk us through the proposed declaration of restrictions with the Scully and Karitzman family.
Mayor, it's rather straightforward. This is what is known as the La Tourette Farm. It consists of 51.11 acres. Designated as Block 8, Lot 24, a portion of which is farm qualified. And the owners wish to preserve this in part by prohibiting any future subdivision. So they are recording a declaration of restriction that would prohibit any further subdivision of what I've described as Block 8, Lot 24.07 and 24.07 farm. And the township would have rights to enforce this restriction by way of a request for an injunction. The declaration does not provide public access, and it's binding upon the successors to the property owner should this property change hand in the future. So essentially that is what we have before us. It's a rather altruistic grant of a declaration by the property owners, Mr. Robert Scully and Miss Nancy Karitzman.
Okay, thank you. So just a quick reminder, last year Mr. Scully and Ms. Perritzman. They have two large properties that are adjacent to each other. So lot 2407 is adjacent to where I believe where they're currently living. And they put a deed restriction with a farmland preservation on one parcel that is actively being farmed. The adjacent parcel, they did not necessarily think was appropriate for the farmland preservation, but they were still looking to maintain that large tract as a single large tract and keep it from further development pressures in the future. And their idea was, well, let's put a restriction, have that run to the benefit of the town to enforce it. That other tract would not be subdivided. So that 51-acre tract will stay as a 51-acre tract. And as Mr. Blardo mentioned, it is an altruistic act. There's no funds, no money being exchanged in consideration for giving up the ability to subdivide that parcel. And once again, we thank the Scully and Perritzman family for their farmland preservation program, or the farmland preservation restriction they put on last year. And should the Township Committee authorize this resolution, I would thank them again for further restricting development on their property and maintaining that beautiful corridor of Black River Road as it is today. So that's some background. Any comments or questions from the Township Committee regarding this ordinance?
No, Mayor, I just echo what you just said, though. It's very kind and community-based gesture, and I think that they should be commended for having the foresight and doing this for everybody. Really, it's a tremendous benefit.
It really is. It really, the idea of keeping the Bedminster large tracts as large tracts is something that I think, once again, every member of this Township Committee, and as long as I've been on Township Committee, uniformly, everyone has supported, and we're welcome this with open arms. We will need a motion to open up the public comment section for discussion of this ordinance. So maybe.
So moved, Mayor.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, does any member of the public have questions regarding ordinance 2020-003 and the authorization of the township to accept a restriction from Robert Scully and Nancy Perritzman? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public comment section?
So moved.
Second.
Now we will need a motion. Oh, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
In favor.
Aye.
Now we will need a motion to adopt ordinance 2020-003.
So moved. Mayor. Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
One down.
One down. Okay. Next, ordinance number 2020-004. This ordinance authorizes the purchase of motor vehicles and heavy equipment for the Public Works Department as part of the regular vehicle replacement program at a total amount not to exceed $100,000. Oh, wait. May we have a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 2020-004?
So moved. Go ahead. In a sec.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so this ordinance is consistent with our budget, where we are authorizing funds to be spent for DPW to purchase vehicles and equipment. This is all part of the ordinary operation of Public Works as they replace vehicles and make those capital improvements. So, Ms. Sullivan, do you have anything to add?
Normally we do around 75,000. This year we're doing 100 because there is a truck and plow that's part of this plan. So it's a little bit more this year.
And once again, this is already part of our budget, so there's nothing new and exciting in the expenditure. It just requires the ordinance to actually spend the money. So any other questions or comments from the Township Committee? If
None,
not,
Mayor.
can we have a motion to open the public comment
We
section?
just did,
Oh, we just did?
yes.
We got to close it.
Any members of the public?
Seeing none, motion to close the public comment section.
So moved.
Second.
Again, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll need a motion to approve ordinance 2020-004.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moraski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye. Ordinance, well, we'll need a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 2020-005.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ordinance 2020-005. This ordinance authorizes appropriating $158,637 for the Capitol Road Management Plan in Bedminster Township. So I'm going to ask Judy to quickly walk through the roads. that are-
Okay.
And more importantly, the full amount of funds that Bedminster
Correct.
is spending on those roads.
So the budget actually for roads this year is 450,000. However, we have 292,000 set aside in an old ordinance from last year. Actually, some from last year and some from 2018 is a little bit left over. So altogether, we'll have 450, and we're only, the new money this year is the 158,637. That's why it's an odd number. The 450, part of it was, we did the project out on Leamatong Way, Janelle Court, and Laura Lane. But that's been completed. We're going to be doing Okura Lane up on Revere Drive. Those are two projects we're working on very soon. Once this is all approved. We also have some monies left over from previous projects like Hillside Avenue that will be canceled and put back into the capital budget. And we'll be able to use that for other projects as well. So
this 158,000 in conjunction with the ordinances already approved, that essentially fully funds our 2020 pavement management plan with some roads that are in desperate need. Certainly Okura is one of the worst roads in Bedminster, so about time that Okura got repaved, as well as
Revere Drive, Sergeant Stoddard Court.
Stoddard. So this is opportune, and certainly this is timely. So public comment. So Judy, once again, when we open the public hearing, do we need a separate motion to open the public comment section?
No, you open the discussion.
There we go.
That's Township Committee and the public together.
Okay. So does any member of the public have any questions regarding ordinance 2020-005 or the Capital Road Management Plan? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public comment and the public hearing for ordinance 2020-005?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
And we have a motion to approve ordinance 2020-005.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moraski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye. And don't you worry, we have more ordinances to spend more township money. Ordinance 2020-006, this ordinance authorizes appropriating $41,700 for various equipment for the police department in Bedminster Township. May we have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is funds going to the police department
Police department.
for.
So we have $41,700.
And so
It's
mainly going.
going to be $15,000 to outfit a new police car with computer, lights, cage, and all the equipment that goes in the back of the police car. And $25,000 we're going to do $25,000 for 3 years for a total of $75,000. So this is the first installment of that $75,000 that we're putting aside that will purchase all new in-car videos systems for all the police cars. Okay, it's going to cost us $75,000 in total. We're not ready to make the purchase, obviously, but we're putting aside $25,000 this year, next year, and in 2022 to complete the project. Okay. And then there's another, let's see, 15 plus 25. There's another 1,700 for new shotguns for the police cars as well. So that's the 41.7.
Okay, any questions or comments regarding 2006, either from the Township Committee or from the public? Seeing none, there's a motion to close the public section.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have a motion to approve ordinance 2020-006.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson.
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moreski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye. Our next ordinance is 2020-007. And we have a motion to open the public hearing for ordinance 2020-007.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so just as we were talking during the public comment section, this is the efficacy of the speed limit signs that we've seen in Black River Road, but we've all seen elsewhere around the surrounding towns. So this ordinance authorizes $31,000 for street lighting upgrades and for solar speed signs in Bedminster. And this would, I believe, 2 solar speed signs
Yeah.
that would be deployed at Robertson Road. So Ms. Sullivan, did you quickly want to walk through any other details of that ordinance?
Yeah, so it'd be $6,000 for the similar speed signs as were installed up on Black River will be installed on Robertson. The engineer will be working with John Mances to the locations, the best locations for those 2 speed signs. And then we're going to have $25,000 for some street lighting repairs. We primarily up in the Gatehouse neighborhood, up that and Autumn Ridge Road. We have a lot of street lighting issues up in that area that it's just time. So we're going to start replacing some of those street lights that are up there that need repair. The posts are starting to rot,
Right.
so we need some new posts.
Any further questions or comments from the Township Committee?
Mayor, just want to say, I think that these speed signs will be a welcome addition. The Hills, I know Mr. Stevenson, Ms. Moreski, and I, all having been liaison to the Hills, have gotten an earful about that cut through on Robertson. So just as Mr. Brown has been a very good advocate for his neighbors and residents, I think the residents of the Hills will welcome that addition. So I think it's money well spent.
Good. Any comments from the public on ordinance 2020-007? Seeing none, we have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Again, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. May we have a motion to approve ordinance 2020-007?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Moraski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
And Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
One more. Got one more, Doug.
We can do it.
All right. This is ordinance 2020-008. May we have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So this ordinance authorizes appropriating $10,000 for various technology, computer equipment in Bedminster Township. Once again, these are funds that we've already allocated in our budget. But Ms. Sullivan, if you just want to quickly walk through these details.
I'm going to ask Mr. Hickey to help me out here. Colin?
It's for various technology improvements in the building, including access points, security devices, backup devices, just basically run the business investments. And obviously it provides some additional security, which is critical given some action we've seen in some other neighboring towns.
Correct. Are there any other questions or comments from the Township Committee on this ordinance? Seeing none, any questions or comments from the public regarding ordinance 2020-008? Seeing none, may we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May we have a motion to approve ordinance 2020-008?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moraski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
We have one resolution on the consent agenda. Once again, consent agenda are items of routine nature and which really don't require a whole lot of discussion. So unless there's someone who wants to pull that resolution off, may we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
So,
Second.
It's just all in favor?
Aye.
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 You?
Okay, bill list. May we have a motion to approve the bills pending review of individual invoices.
Yeah, please stop by and sign your stuff.
So moved?
Second.
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Moraski?
Aye.
Ms. Fernandez?
Aye.
Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
Discussion items, are there any does any member of the Township Committee have an issue that they want to open for discussion and for public input? Seeing none, let's go to new business. Any matters for new business?
Nope.
It is a hot day in July, man. It's a hot day in July. Old business. So we really didn't cover the COVID-19 emergency other than the one couple of references to the library and to farmers market. Town is open. Well, the building is open to the public. Still a whole lot of COVID requirements and guidance in place. I did want to make reference that we've all been following the incidents and reports of COVID in Somerset County, in New Jersey, and certainly particularly here in Bedminster. We had reported at the last meeting, and I think for a few meetings before that, that we were identified as having 5 fatalities in Bedminster Township. Was looking at the looking at the Somerset County dashboard, and I noticed that it was down to 4, although I see right now that it's back up at 5. I had a discussion with the Somerset County Health Director, as to why we had gone from 5 down to 4. And told that, well, it all depends on how the death certificates ultimately get drafted. There may have been a COVID presumed case that turned out not to be the fatality itself. It may also be reflective of an incorrect address being reported for a fatality. So whatever it is, if you continue to check the Somerset County Health dashboard, you may see fluctuations. Once again, last week it was at 4. I see it now at 5, but I did not receive any notification of a new fatality. So I wonder if the dashboard has been appropriately updated.
So if I could just speak up
Sure.
as registrar, Robin and I, when we get a death certificate, if the person actually passed away in Bedminster, that's a Bedminster death. If the person, say, was in Morristown Memorial or Robert Wood Johnson down in Somerville, but they're a Bedminster resident, that will be registered as a Morristown death or a Somerville death. But then we will get a copy called a resident copy because they live here. But that death is actually logged for that town. So what they're we didn't have anybody actually die in Bedminster, according to our records. They died in a hospital somewhere. But then they go back to the resident records to see where that person was from.
Right. So what the county health director was saying was, as that information comes out, so you both your cause of death and the residence or the decedent's place of residence, there may be mix-ups, maybe mix-up whether they were a Bedminster resident or they lived elsewhere. The cause of death may also, sometimes we see those causes of death change.
Yes.
But the takeaway is that it's not a perfect system. And I wish I had some greater insight or something better to tell you but it's clearly not.
Sometimes you had an older relative or a relative who's visiting. Maybe grandma's living with you temporarily or is visiting for an extended stay, and then they become ill. Were they really a Bedminster resident? No, they really live somewhere else. So as a result, the numbers change.
Right. And once again, so today's numbers, as far as total cases of COVID that have been reported. So this goes back to actually early March and maybe even late February. 46 confirmed cases in Bedminster. Now, certainly a whole lot of those folks will have recovered by this time, but those are 46 confirmed individual cases in Bedminster. Once again, the county dashboard is reporting 5, and earlier they had reported 5, then they went down to 4, back to 5. Once again, something else to raise with the county health department when I speak with them next. So it's with us. It is still with us. Once again, I think every member of the committee has talked about this. Social distancing and masks are best defenses in reducing the spread. So urge everyone to maintain compliance with those guidelines. Short-term rentals, I'm going to assume that we have no new updates on that. Engine braking, I'm going to assume there's no new updates on that. Pluckman Park, Mr. Stevenson mentioned following up with code enforcement on the painting issue. JCP&L outages. We did host Carol Bianchi from JCP&L at the farmer's market for about, Colin, what do you think, about an hour and a half, 2 hours?
About an hour and a half, 2 hours. She got a lot of good feedback and was very appreciative of the opportunity to be there. And I think she got a Rotten Tomatoes score of 93, Mayor.
But no Rotten Tomatoes thrown at her.
No Rotten Tomatoes thrown at her. But it was a great alternate venue for our residents to interact with her because As you mentioned before, it's a hot July day. Not everybody's coming to a township committee meeting, but it was another place for people to talk with her, ask questions. She got a lot of good questions, a lot of good feedback. So thank you for, and again, she shares her thanks, and I suggest we do that again in the future.
No, that was certainly a good opportunity for folks to talk about power, what's going on with JCL. I know there were discussions that went to the prospects for smart metering,
Yep.
and I was able to answer a lot of those questions. So that was a good opportunity for putting folks directly in touch with their utility representative. Speaking of utilities, New Jersey American Water rate increase. And we do have some
We're going to talk about that more
we
in
do have
closed
some
session.
issues to discuss in exec on this issue, but between Judy and Colin, if you can give us a quick update on the non-executive session items of the case against
Sure.
New Jersey American.
Judy, you want me to start?
Go ahead.
So just to update, the initial opposition testimony was submitted on Thursday, July 2nd. I reviewed in detail what was submitted, and I'm happy to report that Bedminster did their homework. So our economic expert, which we hired, Exeter Associates, did an excellent job of laying out the case to the BPU of why a rate increase is not warranted. And they looked at a variety of economic factors, return on equity benchmarks for the industry. No surprise here, but New Jersey American Water is trying to exceed those indices, but they're doing it on the back of ratepayers. They looked at whether any capital investments would justify such an exorbitant rate increase. Here's a spoiler alert, they didn't. They also looked at the fact that New Jersey American Water is trying to recoup credit card fees and e-checking fees from the entire rate base, not just from the people who take advantage of those services. They looked at the divestiture of a failing New York American Water, which the parent company, American Water, is trying to get rid of and have the rest of us pay for. And they also looked at lead line replacement costs and justifying that for the rate increase, except here in Bedminster and the surrounding towns, very unlikely we have any lead lines. So in summary, I think what New Jersey American Water is trying to do is they're looking at rate of return for the shareholders on one side and the burden on the ratepayers on the other side. And clearly New Jersey American Water has come down squarely on the side of the shareholders. It's not even close. So Exeter did a great job of basically spelling that out and explaining that to the BPU. So obviously more to follow, but that's the latest. And Judy, I don't know if I've missed anything. You want to bring us up to speed on any
Well,
additional?
obviously, this project we started ourselves, but then we reached out to a lot of the Somerset County towns to join us in the fight. We currently have Bernardsville, Peapack, Gladstone, Far Hills, Bridgewater, Raritan Borough, Raritan Township, who have all joined us. There's a couple others out there that are looking at it, and the Mosca law firm is, meeting with them there's still a chance to join. So we'll give you some more updates on that in executive.
All right, great. Thank you. And one thing that's not necessarily on old business, but it's something that we've talked about before. And once again, it's the racial issue that we talked about, what the county has proposed. There's been no real further developments from the county. Still waiting on the county to come up with some concepts that it wants to roll out to the municipalities. But in the meantime, I've had discussions with some of our surrounding mayors, including a recent discussion with Mayor Mensch from Bridgewater about some programs that they're looking into, and I'm going to explore those a little bit further and see if those might be something that Bedminster wants to participate in as well. So once again, don't have anything concrete for you, but something that we will be developing and we will not be losing sight of. That is what I have for old business. With that, I would like to turn it over to Township Committee comments. A reminder, we do have an executive session. We will not be taking any formal action following that executive session. So we'll go to Township Committee comments, and when we adjourn the meeting, we will be going back to exec session, but we will not be returning to the open session itself. Committeeman Stevenson.
No comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Hickey.
Mayor, thank you. Just one item. I had the opportunity to visit the Burnt Mills Cidery over the past couple of weekends, and I got to tell you, it's already becoming a Bedminster mainstay. To make these things successful, you need a vision and then a whole lot of hard work. And its founder, John Coates, has done just that. I just want to applaud his efforts, encourage folks to check it out. If you're watching this video on this hot July day, we're almost done. Wait until the mayor speaks. Put down your phone, shut off your laptop, do not pass go. Go to the Burnt Mills Cidery. You will not be disappointed. It is really become a new Bedminster institution. Lots of folks enjoying it. So just a great addition to the town. That's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Great, thank you. And also, by the way, so it's not just hard cider. I was up there on yesterday afternoon, and they're making ginger ale.
Yes. Unsweetened. He's trying to get the formula for the how much sweetener and how much carbonation he puts in.
Right. So he had that available, and it is interesting. Folks are going up there with their kids, and they're sitting outside, and they're bringing their food, and it's really become a place to go. And you get your hard cider, but you bring your own food, bring your kids, and people are making an evening of it. So that's really great to see. It's great to see success with something that I think a lot of us know. And John is an active participant in our Environmental Commission. So congratulations to Mr. Coates. Committeewoman Mareski.
Thank you, Mayor. And I wasn't even going to mention the cidery because I thought that might be showing favoritism, but we did go up last Thursday, and the stuff that he pours is delicious. And they had the Oink and Moo truck, so we didn't even have to cook. So we just go on up. My suggestion is bring your own chairs because a lot of people are going up, and the table space ran out quickly because everybody's being really good about socially distancing. I did want to just say real quick, thank you to all our vendors, volunteers, and attendees who keep our farmers market the place to be on Saturday mornings. There's something new we have there every week. And just to close, while the COVID-19 virus is keeping us all socially distanced, this week is going to be really hot. So please check in with any elderly family and friends you have to make sure they're staying cool. And that's all I have.
Great comments. Committeewoman Fernandez.
I just want to take a second to commend the staff and Robin for how well Camp Bedminster is running. My daughter has been there volunteering 2 weeks in a row now, and every time I drop her off, she's got to roll down the window. They have to take her temperature. They have to ask her a bunch of COVID questions. She has to get out. She has to wear her mask the whole time. And the kids are being amazing about it. They're all having a great time. I've heard from a lot of Bedminster family friends who have littler kids that, the kids really enjoy being able to have the camp. So I'm just grateful to all the staff and to Robin for having had a plan B and following through. And a lot of our families are very happy. So I just wanted to let everybody know that it's going well. Everyone's social distancing, following all the rules, but still having a summer camp.
Great. I have no comments. So I will take a motion to adjourn the public session and to head to executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. So just for exec session, we'll have John. Robin, I don't think we're discussing anything that's certainly all within Robin's purview. So if Robin
Right.
wants, then she can. And Judy will log out, and then you'll enter us
We're
back.
gonna open the other session, so you have to go back to your email and get the other email.
Okay.
I bid you all a good night.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, John.
Good night, John.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
See you on the other side.